As a large dairy operation located on the eastern shore of Maryland, nutrient management and environmental regulation certainly has an impact on the decisions that we make in handling our manure. In addition to trying to address the 4 R's in order to maximize the economics of our manure, we also need to be cognizant of the regulations that we're surrounded by. The entire system that we've developed is made to be able to separate our nutrients and address those areas of regulation to make sure that we stay in compliance.
This is the Fertilizer Institute's 4R Field Report, on-farm nutrient stewardship information about how the right source, right time, right rate, and right place interact with issues facing everyone. Sean Jones and crop advisor Mike Twining participate in a balancing act. They work together using the 4 R's to balance large quantities of manure and conventional nutrient sources to achieve environmentally friendly crop and dairy production. Here's a cook's tour of the Jones family dairy operation.
All of the barns are connected in the center through a channel that carries all the manure down to the sand separation area and also continues on to the solid separation. Once the manure from the 4 main barns is conveyed to the center cross alley, a flush tank dumps every hour to bring the liquid into the processing area behind me. This area is a 3-stage settling cell, allowing the sand used for bedding in the freestalls to settle out, and then it's conveyed via augers to a mechanical sand separation system where it is then reused back in the stalls. The sand provides a very comfortable source for the cows to lay on, in addition to low growth media for bacteria. The system agitates the manure for a consistent flow across the solid separator, which is located near the manure storage area. Once the manure leaves the sand separation area, it enters into the solid separation area. This step removes the large solid particles from the liquid stream, which then proceeds further downstream and has the fine sand particles separated. The solids can then be land applied to other acreage outside of the irrigated manure acreage. As the liquid goes through our L1 cell, which holds back additional solids, that cell ends up at about a 5% solids. The remaining liquid going into the large storage lagoons is about a 0.5% solids. That low solids content liquid is what is irrigated out onto the cropland. The phosphorus is mostly held back in connection with the solids in the earlier processes. The fluidized bed reactor system allows us to separate out the ammonium magnesium phosphate, the struvite, in a solid state. These reactors start by pre-treating the very liquid fraction of manure with an acid and a magnesium in order to break the calcium and phosphorus bond. At that point, that liquid is pumped into the bottom of the cone-shaped reactors where they are treated with ammonium. The ammonium takes the pH back up and precipitates out the struvite into a granular form. The granular struvite settles to the bottom of the reactor and then is harvested off the bottom of the reactor, where the liquid is then drained off in a drying sack. It gives us a dry form of struvite as the end process, and a liquid source of manure that is much lower in phosphorus than originally entering into the system. Manure is a major fertilizer for us on a dairy operation. In order to address the 4 R's of manure, the system that was laid out before you divides the manure into its different components, allowing us to address the 4 R's. We're able to address the right source by dividing the manure into its different components. We're able to address the right rate by analyzing each of these and being able to apply them to the specific crops and the amounts needed. We're able to address the right time by the methods of application that we use, by irrigating onto a growing crop at the time of its most nutrient uptake. And we're also able to address the right place through our methods of application through solids and liquid applications. Certainly, being situated in the Chesapeake Bay watershed and located so close to Washington, D.C., and the size of our dairy operation here make us very publicly scrutinized, so we're very careful to address our manure handling operation so that we're staying in compliance, and not only in compliance but trying to stay one step ahead of the regulations that are out there so that we're being good stewards of the land.
Well, our role with Sean is really simple. We're not only his advisor to help him actually implement the 4 Rs across his farm, we're also his plant nutrition supplier. And part of his plant nutrition program is the nutrients that his livestock operation is producing organically. So the only way I can effectively perform that role is to get actively engaged with that part of his business, understand it, help him balance it, utilize it. The end result of that is positive for both of us.
For more information about the 4 Rs, visit nutrientstewardship.com.